Now we'll need to push these faces inside, because here around I want this to be representing like a rice, and then inside we'll have like most commonly the salmon or some cucumber or something like that, and then around we'll of course make a seaweed. But to be able to push this inside, we need to learn a new tool, and that'll be the Extrude tool, and you can find it here in the toolbar. Just hover here and you will see Extrude region. If you click it, you basically enable that tool, and you will see this little gizmo that would enable you to work with this. So if you just click and drag, you are able to extrude this up or push this inside. The extrude will allow you to go both ways in Blender right here. So let's just go inside a little bit like this and then release. But there's another option if you want to do this. Let me go back to the box select. You can use the same interactive tool as with the transformations, as with the scale before. And instead of clicking the tool, you can just press E for the extrude command. So first of all, let's select this face right here because I want to extrude it further down. And let's press E. And now you will see you're in this interactive mode for extrusion, same as before with the scale. And you can just move it up and down. And I think this is more precise than using the tool by click and drag, because you don't need to strain your muscle as when you're clicking and dragging. So let's move it like this and then confirm with the left mouse button, and the extrusion is complete here. And now the final touch I want to do here is to extrude these faces all around to create like a thin strip for the seaweed around the sushi. And of course you can just select the face, hold shift and go around your object and add to the selection, but that would be too tedious. So of course there's a better way in Blender, and you can just hold Alt key and click the edge right here and you will select the loop. So this kind of selection around the object is called loop. And to be able to select it, you need to click on the edge that's perpendicular to the loop. So if I hold Alt and click on the edge up here, you will see I'm selecting in this direction. If I want to switch the direction of the loop, I'm holding Alt and clicking on this edge right here. And the beauty of Blender is most of the time you can chain commands or add shortcuts and they will work as expected. So as normally holding shift allows me to add to the selection, the same thing will apply here. So if I hold Alt for a loop selection and then hold shift additionally, I can click additional edges and add additional loops. Now this won't work for you if you're using that mouse emulation I've been talking about before. So let me just go ahead and enable that real quick. So now if I'm holding Alt and clicking, nothing happens because I'm using this combination to rotate the viewport. So to be able to select the loop, you can just double click the edge, either the one on the top or on the side to select this loop. And if you now hold shift and double click, you will add to the selection. So same thing as before. Now let's disable this again. And now to be able to extrude this, I cannot just use E again because that will enable extrusion in a single direction. So if I press E, it just moves to the side, either on one or the other. And this is not working for us properly. So we'll need to use different mode for the extrusion. But here I want to take the opportunity to warn you of something that can happen to you and that will ruin your model and make your Blender experience miserable. And that's double geometry. So for example, if I'm extruding like this and now I decide I don't want to do that and I right click to cancel, it cancels out nicely, but this doesn't work as with the transformation where it basically just jumps back to the position. Right here, the geometry was already created and it's already there. So right now you have double vertices on all of these faces that were selected. Let me demonstrate. If I go to the vertex select and I can click and move this vertex away, you will see there's another right behind it. Let me go back. And as I said before, this would cause nightmares. It can break your modifiers later, it can break your rendering, it can break materials. A lot of things can be broken, and this is one of the most common mistakes when you're starting with Blender, creating a double geometry and then having all kinds of troubles, problems and glitches. And the easiest remedy for that is to merge vertices by distance. So if I select everything, let me go to the X-ray, select everything here, and go mesh and merge, and I can merge them by distance. And that means if they're overlapping, they will get merged and we no longer will have double geometry. But of course there's a shortcut for that, and you can see right here, it's M for merge. So let's just press M and merge by distance. And right down here, you will see the message that Blender removed 32 vertices that were double and that would cause trouble down the road. So let's disable the X-ray view. And now let's go back to the face select and select those loops. So Alt click and now hold Alt and Shift and select those other loops. And we can now use that extrude. So if you click and hold on the extrude region here in the toolbar, you will see different tools here, but they will all behave in a similar way. So if I go extrude along normals, you will see the gizmo, and it's click and drag, which I don't prefer. So let me just switch this back to extrude region and go back to the select mode. Instead of E, we'll just use Alt E, and we'll get the same extrude menu right here, and we can choose extrude face along normals. But what does it mean exactly? If I go here and enable normals, they are these vectors pointing out of your faces, and basically you can think of them as little arrows that point to a direction your face is rotated towards. So if I want to extrude these outside, these will need to go left and these will need to go right. And that's exactly what extrude along normals will do for us. So let me disable those normals, and finally we'll press Alt E, extrude faces along normals, and just extrude. And now additionally there's a quick shortcut to make this even, because you can see Blender is trying to kind of round it out, and I just want a nice cubic sharp design. So let's press S while extruding, and again we're taking the advantage of that interactive tool behavior to chain additional commands like the S for even scaling. So let's scale it like this. And now finally I want to extrude this up a little bit so the separation here is visible. And now that we know how to select loops, we can just hold Alt key, click here and press E to extrude this up. And now our model is ready, so we can exit the edit mode, at least for now. And you can do it again here and just switch the mode. But there's of course a quicker way to do that, and you can use the tab key on the keyboard and just tab out and in of the edit mode. And I use this all the time when I'm navigating the viewport. I just select the object, tab into the edit mode, and I can do my adjustments real quick and then tab out of the edit mode. Now let's move on, but before, don't forget to save.